Welcome to the Azure Pools of Serenity, a tranquil audio experience crafted to guide you into a state of deep relaxation and peaceful sleep. If you find yourself enjoying this journey and would like to explore more stories like it, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Before we embark on Aeliana's journey to the calming oasis, we'll begin with a gentle breathing guidance to help you ease into a restful state. If you'd prefer to skip directly to the story and the soothing sounds of the Azure Pools, you can find the timestamps for each chapter in the description below. There, you'll be able to begin listening to Aeliana's journey as she is drawn to the whispered promises of peace in a hidden oasis, surrounded by cool stones, vibrant flowers, and gentle breezes. Now, allow yourself to settle into a comfortable position. Gently adjust your pillows or blankets, creating a space of safety and ease. Let your body sink into your chosen space and simply allow yourself to be held. Release the day's worries and any physical tension that you might be holding in your body. This is your time to invite peace into your mind, your body, and your spirit. As we begin, I invite you to visualize the Azure Pools and the gentle flow of its clear waters as you breathe. Let them be your guide as you begin to relax and settle in. Let's take a calming breath together. Gently inhale through your nose, allowing the breath to move slowly and naturally into your body. Feel the air gently filling your lungs. Now exhale slowly through your mouth like a quiet sigh of contentment. Feel your body soften as you release the day with each exhale. With every breath, invite the image of the soft, luminescent glow of the Azure Pools into your awareness. Let this soft light and this rhythmic breath wash over you as you begin to prepare for this peaceful journey. If your mind drifts, that is perfectly all right. Gently bring your attention back to your breath or the sound of my voice. There is nothing you need to do except listen and allow the story to carry you into a peaceful, restful state. Feel the rhythm of the water, the gentle ebb and flow, as if it is also mirroring your gentle breaths. Let it wash away any lingering thoughts, any doubts, and any tension. Allow yourself to simply be present in this moment. And with that, let's begin our journey to the hidden oasis where the soothing waters of the Azure Pools await. Chapter 1. The Dusty Road and the Whispering Wind. Aeliana had always found a certain solace in maps. The precise lines, the careful rendering of mountains and rivers, the meticulous labeling of towns they were, in their own way, a soothing antidote to the unpredictable nature of the world. But these days, even the maps seemed to hold a weight. The weight of responsibility, the weight of a recent loss, and the physical weight of the large leather-bound portfolio she carried slung across her back. Weeks she had been traveling through this arid desert, the sun beating down on her back, the dust coating her boots, and each day the journey seemed to grow more wearisome than the last. Her usually keen eye, so adept at charting the smallest of details on a parchment, now seemed to only notice the never-ending expanse of sand. The horizon, shimmering and hazy, offered no reprieve, no promise of respite. She walked on, one foot in front of the other, her steps measured and steady as the day slowly unfolded around her. An almost rhythmic movement, her gaze fixed on the dusty path ahead. The heat was intense, but despite the harsh climate, she felt a sense of almost peace that always accompanied being completely alone with the land, only interrupted by the occasional breeze and her own thoughts. It was during one such moment, as the afternoon sun began its slow descent, that a change occurred in the air. A whisper of a breeze, so faint it was almost imperceptible, brushed against her cheek. This was different from the usual harsh desert wind. It was cooler, softer, and carried with it a faint, almost melodic murmur. It felt like the wind itself was trying to tell her something, a secret it had gathered from a distant place. Aeliana, intrigued, paused her journey. She let the breeze guide her, turning her head this way and that, trying to capture the source of this unusual sound. She noticed a small cleft in the rocks to her left, a break in the monotony of the landscape. The shadows, stretching long and thin as the sun began to sink below the horizon, made the entrance seem almost secretive. With a gentle curiosity, she veered off her path, allowing her feet to carry her towards this unexpected opening. As she drew closer, she noticed that the air grew cooler, a welcome relief from the scorching desert heat. The murmur she had heard on the breeze became clearer, a gentle, rhythmic sound, almost like the softest of waves lapping against the shore. She began to descend a narrow path, a gradual descent that wound its way between the rocks, and the sound of water grew stronger, more inviting. The path led her down into a small, hidden hollow, and as she stepped onto a flat area, she stopped abruptly, her breath catching in her throat. There before her lay the most unexpected of sights, the Azure Pools. The water, a deep, vibrant blue, shimmered in the fading light, as if it were infused with a soft inner glow. Smooth, polished stones lined the edges, and soft grasses and fragrant flowers dotted the perimeter. It was an oasis, a sanctuary, a place that seemed to exist outside the harsh reality of the desert. The gentle murmur of the water filled the hollow, a soothing sound that seemed to ease her weariness with every soft pulse. Aeliana felt a sense of peace wash over her, a calmness she hadn't experienced in what felt like an age. She stood there for a moment, simply observing the tranquil scene before her, the vibrant blue of the pools, the soft dappled light, and the gentle swaying of the grasses. The weariness that she carried began to seem lighter as she inhaled the sweet floral scent that filled the air. This was a place of gentle invitation, a promise of respite and calm. And as the first stars began to appear in the darkening sky, Aeliana knew that she had quite unexpectedly found something quite extraordinary. The road she knew would still be there tomorrow, but tonight she would give herself permission to rest. Chapter 2. The Invitation of the Pools. Aeliana stood at the edge of the Azure Pools, the water beckoning like a whispered invitation. The sun had finally dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in soft hues of lavender and rose, and the pools reflected the gentle light, creating an ethereal glow. The air was still, the only sound the soothing murmur of the water, a rhythmic pulse that seemed to echo the beat of her own heart. She noticed how the polished stones surrounding the pool appeared smooth and inviting, almost as if they had been specifically placed to encourage rest. and contemplation. Hesitation lingered for a moment, a small flicker of doubt in the face of such unexpected beauty. Could this place truly be as peaceful as it appeared? Aeliana had traveled far and wide, and her experiences had taught her to be cautious, to be wary of things that seemed too good to be true. But as she stood there, the gentle murmur of the water seemed to reassure her, a soft melody that whispered of comfort and solace. Taking a deep breath, she took a step closer, allowing her fingers to brush the surface of the cool water. The touch was like a gentle caress, cool and soothing against her skin. It seemed to dispel any lingering doubt, and a feeling of peace began to settle upon her, a quiet certainty that this place was indeed a sanctuary. She unlaced her worn boots, her movements slow and deliberate, and carefully removed them, placing them on a smooth stone at the water's edge. She then untied her satchel and laid it next to her boots. The weight of it seemed to lessen as she let it rest. She paused again, gazing at the water. The blue was so clear, so vibrant, it was as if she could see right through to the very bottom. Though it was surely deep, she carefully stepped into the shallows, the cool water embracing her feet with a gentle touch. She walked slowly, allowing herself to adjust to the feeling of the water, the small pebbles beneath her feet, and the soft current that moved around her. With each step, she felt more at ease, as if the water was slowly washing away the dust and weariness of her long journey. As she moved deeper, the water rose around her, enveloping her in a cool embrace. She floated effortlessly, the gentle current moving her softly back and forth. The sun's last light danced on the surface of the water, creating a kaleidoscope of colors, and Aeliana closed her eyes, allowing the cool touch of the water to wash over her. She felt a sense of lightness, a feeling of release as she allowed herself to be carried by the gentle flow. The murmur of the water became a soothing melody, a lullaby that seemed to quiet the restless thoughts in her mind. She stretched out her arms and legs, allowing her body to fully relax and surrender to the moment. It was as if she were floating in a dream, a gentle journey guided by the soft currents of the Azure Pools. The weariness that had been clinging to her seemed to dissolve into the water, carried away by the soft flow. She spent some time like that, simply floating in the water, allowing it to carry her. She felt her body begin to soften and release, her shoulders relaxing, her neck gently lengthening, and the small furrows in her brow smoothing out. The tension she had been carrying seemed to dissolve into the water, leaving a lightness and a sense of gentle peace in its place. The worries of the day seemed far away now, and she felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. She opened her eyes, gazing at the soft blue of the water, and realized she was indeed where she was meant to be. The Azure Pools had welcomed her, invited her to release all she had been carrying, and she felt the quiet knowing that this place would be one that she would remember forever. And with a gentle smile, she allowed herself to drift further into the tranquil embrace of the water, ready to release the burden she had been carrying and allow herself to simply be. Chapter 3. Unburdening through reflection. The cool waters of the Azure Pools held Aeliana in a gentle embrace, the soft current a constant soothing presence. As she floated, her body felt weightless, supported by the buoyancy of the water. The gentle murmur seemed to encourage a quiet introspection, a turning inwards that had been neglected in the busyness of her journey. The worries and responsibilities that had clung to her like a heavy cloak began to loosen their grip, replaced by a gentle sense of calm. She allowed her mind to drift, to wander through the landscape of her recent past, with a soft compassion. She thought of her mentor, the kind old scholar who had taught her the art of map-making and the importance of observing the world with an open heart. His passing had left a void in her life, a deep sadness that she had tried to bury beneath the weight of her work. But here, in the tranquil embrace of the Azure Pools, she allowed herself to feel the grief, to acknowledge the pain without judgment. It was not a sharp, piercing pain, but a gentle ache, like the softest of sorrows, and the water seemed to absorb it with tenderness. As she reflected on her mentor's wisdom, she realized that she had also been carrying the burden of expectation, the pressure to fulfill his legacy and carry on his work. She had been so focused on maintaining her path that she had neglected to truly live, to truly embrace the present moment. She had pushed herself too hard, demanding too much of herself, and had been holding that tension for far too long. The pools seemed to whisper, gently, to let go of that expectation. Aeliana then thought of all the landscape she had mapped, the mountains, the rivers, the vast deserts. She realized that she had always focused on charting the external world, but had neglected to map her own interior, her own feelings, her own thoughts. The pools seemed to offer her the space to do this, to navigate the terrain of her own heart with gentle awareness and compassion. She felt the tears begin to well in her eyes, but they weren't tears of anguish. They were tears of release, tears of understanding, and the water cradled them as they gently washed down her cheeks. She moved her arms in the water, feeling the gentle caress of the flow and how it seemed to massage away all the tension she had been holding on to. With each soft stroke, her shoulders began to relax even more, as though they had been holding her up for years and could finally release. She noticed small details that she had not seen before. The way the water rippled around her fingers, the delicate dance of light upon the surface, and the soft swaying of grasses at the water's edge. She realized that all of the small tasks, the little details of each map, had distracted her from the important journey that laid ahead, a journey of internal discovery, a slow letting go, and a gentle acceptance of the present moment. She had been so focused on the doing that she had forgotten about the being. The pools seemed to remind her to embrace the stillness, to be present, and to trust in the gentle rhythm of life. As she continued to float, she allowed herself to simply be, to surrender to the peace of the present moment. She felt a gentle ease wash over her, as if the water was absorbing the weight she had carried for so long. The burden of expectation, the grief of her loss, and the tension in her body were all softening with every gentle breath she took. She was not in a hurry. There was nothing to achieve. There was just the quiet joy of simply being here, present in the moment. And as the soft light began to fade, as the first stars began to appear in the sky, Aeliana felt a lightness in her heart, a sense of peace that she hadn't experienced in a very long time. She had allowed herself to be vulnerable, to be honest with herself, and the pools had responded with unwavering tenderness. And as she drifted in the quiet embrace of the water, she knew that she was finally beginning to heal. Chapter 4. The Flow of Acceptance. The moon had risen, casting a silvery light upon the azure pools, transforming them into a shimmering expanse of soft blue. Aeliana, still floating gently in the water, felt a profound sense of calm settle over her. The emotional release she had experienced in the previous hours had left her feeling lighter, more open, and more connected to the present moment. The gentle murmur of the water had become a comforting lullaby, each ripple a soft caress against her skin. She allowed her senses to open to notice the details of the oasis with a newfound awareness. She observed a single dragonfly hovering just above the water's surface, its delicate wings catching the moonlight. It moved with a gentle grace, a silent dance that seemed to mirror her own inner peace. She watched as it dipped its tiny legs into the water, leaving barely a ripple, and felt a sense of quiet wonder at this small, intricate moment of nature. She realized that she had been so consumed by her own thoughts and worries that she had missed the beauty and the magic of the simple, ordinary world. She let her gaze drift to the edges of the pools, where the grasses swayed gently in the evening breeze. She noticed how the leaves of the flowering plants shimmered in the moonlight, each petal a perfect work of art. The floral scents seemed to grow stronger, a sweet and calming fragrance that filled the air, and she took a deep breath, allowing it to fill her with a sense of peace and tranquility. She realized that each small detail was a gift, a reminder to be present and to appreciate the simple wonders of the world. Aeliana turned her attention back to the water, noticing how the moonlight reflected on its surface, creating a myriad of dancing lights. She reached out a hand and dipped her fingers into the water, observing how the ripples spread outwards, each one a gentle reminder of the interconnectedness of all things. She realized that she was a part of this natural world, a part of the flow of life, and that she was not separate from its rhythm and its beauty. She decided to move slowly toward the edge of the pool, allowing herself to be mindful of each movement. The feeling of the cool water against her skin, the smooth stones beneath her feet, and the gentle swaying of the grass as she moved through the water. Each step was an invitation to ground herself in the present moment, to release the worries of the past and the anxieties of the future. She was here, in this moment, and it was enough. She found a particularly smooth stone at the water's edge and sat upon it, allowing her feet to dangle in the water. She gazed up at the moon, its silvery light bathing the oasis in a soft, tranquil glow. The stars, too, were beginning to emerge, twinkling diamonds scattered across the dark canvas of the sky. She breathed gently and slowly, allowing the soft air to fill her lungs, and felt each muscle soften and let go, just a little more. Aeliana knew that her journey was not yet over, but now she felt stronger, more resilient, and more at peace. She had found a sanctuary in the Azure Pools, a place where she could release her burdens, connect with her emotions, and discover the true beauty of the present moment. The worries she carried had started to transform into a sense of calm, and an acceptance of where she was in this moment of time. She had accepted the loss of her mentor. She had accepted the pressure she had been putting on herself, and now she was ready to allow the flow of life carry her forward into the future. As the night deepened and the moon continued its gentle journey across the sky, Aeliana knew that she was slowly and gently healing. She was grateful for the gift of the Azure Pools, for the opportunity to connect with the beauty of the natural world, and for the profound sense of peace that had settled in her heart. She was ready to simply be here, present in the quiet beauty of this oasis, allowing the calm of the night to wash over her. Chapter 5. A Heart at Peace. The night air was cool and crisp, carrying with it the sweet scent of the flowering plants that surrounded the azure pools. Aeliana, now sitting comfortably on a smooth stone at the water's edge, felt a deep sense of peace settling within her. The moon, high in the sky, cast its silvery light upon the water, creating a magical scene that seemed to shimmer with gentle energy. She had spent hours immersed in the tranquility of the oasis, allowing the healing power of the water to work its magic, and she felt a profound sense of gratitude for the gift she had been given. She observed the way the moonlight danced on the water's surface, creating patterns of light and shadow. The soft murmur of the water was like a comforting melody, each ripple a gentle reminder of the flow of life. The dragonfly, which she had seen earlier, had now found a resting spot on a nearby leaf, its delicate wings still and calm, and Aeliana felt a deep connection to all of life and to the gentle rhythms of the natural world. The small tasks, the details of each map, had all taught her about the larger world, and she had begun to bring those lessons inwards. Aeliana moved slowly, each movement mindful and deliberate. She dipped her hands back into the water, feeling the cool, smooth touch against her skin, and she allowed the gentle current to flow through her fingers. With each breath, she felt lighter, as if she was releasing the last remnants of the burdens she had been carrying. She closed her eyes, focusing on the sensations of the water, the cool air on her skin, and the gentle hum of the night. She had accepted the weight she had been carrying, and was now ready to return to the world with the light she had found. She allowed herself to reflect upon the journey that had brought her here. The dusty road, the whispering wind, the hidden cleft in the rocks, and the unexpected beauty of the Azure Pools. Each step, each moment had been part of a larger pattern, a gentle unfolding that had led her to this place of healing and peace. She had found what she was searching for, though not in the way that she had expected. She had not found a quick fix, but instead had been given a gentle invitation to journey inwards. She understood now that the true magic of the pools lay not in a quick solution, but in the process of release, in the act of surrender, and in the embrace of the present moment. It was not about escaping the realities of life, but about finding peace within them and allowing herself to feel the whole of her experience with gentle compassion. She smiled softly, her eyes still closed, feeling the peace deep within her. The cool water embraced her feet, and she felt that she could stay there in the stillness forever. She knew, however, that she could not stay forever. The world awaited her, and she had a duty to return to her mapping, to bring to the world the clarity that she had found within. As the first hint of dawn began to paint the eastern sky in hues of pale pink, she felt the call to return, but she also knew that she would not be the same. She had been changed by the magic of the Azure Pools, and she would carry that peace with her wherever she traveled. She rose slowly from the stone, the movement of her body feeling light and effortless. The water flowed gently over her feet as she stepped onto the bank, the soft grass cool against her skin. She took her satchel and boots and, once ready, turned to face the pools, the memory of her time there already forming in her mind, a beautiful picture that she would remember forever. She knew that the gentle murmur of the water would stay with her, a comforting melody that would help guide her on her path. With one final breath, she turned and began to walk away, her steps lighter and more assured than they had been the day before. As she climbed back up the narrow path, she carried with her the gentle energy of the pools, the feeling of release, and the profound sense of peace that had settled in her heart. She knew that the journey ahead would still have challenges, but she would now face them with a renewed sense of strength and resilience, and the quiet knowing that she would be able to find moments of peace within the gentle rhythms of each new day. She paused at the top of the path, turning one final time to look back at the hidden oasis. The pools shimmered in the soft morning light, a radiant jewel nestled within the rocky landscape, and she smiled, her heart filled with gratitude. And with a gentle sigh of contentment, she turned and continued on her journey, her footsteps lighter, her heart at peace, ready to chart new landscapes with renewed eyes. And as the sun began to rise, casting a warm glow upon the desert, Aeliana continued on her path, carrying the quiet beauty of the Azure Pools within her, knowing that this was a place that she could return to, within herself, any time that she needed to, and she would always be met with the same gentle welcome and profound sense of peace. And as she walked on, the gentle murmur of the water faded into the distance, but the memory of her time there would remain, a source of comfort and calm for the journey that lay ahead.